What's going on, guys? This is Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal, and welcome to this episode of the Sneaker Principal podcast. I've made this episode in the morning, but I decided to do it tonight because I have a feeling that I am going to be slightly exhausted in the morning. Today was a long day. Today was a very, very long day. I had a class to take that was 9 hours long. And I don't really want to get into the details of what the class was for. It was interesting. It was really good. I won't even lie. It was good. I learned a lot of legalities and a lot of stuff that the average citizen doesn't understand or doesn't even think about in regards to our safety and the decisions that we make as citizens. But sitting in a room from about 11:30 till roughly about 8:30 at night was long. But one thing I will say is this: it's very interesting how when something piques our interest, when something makes us think, it doesn't really matter how long it is, as long as our attention is captured. You will stay in tune, you will stay focused on whatever is being taught or whatever is being, shared with you. So that was my experience today, but it was a long day. So now I'm at home and I think my mind and body wants to release like it usually does on the weekends and relax, but it is super late. It's almost midnight. And I know that I'm going to try to hold on to being awake as long as possible, which means the potential of a later wake up time tomorrow. Plus, I have to go get a haircut. I haven't had a haircut in a couple of weeks. And so I have to go catch my barber because after that, I have to make it back to part 2 of the course that I'm taking tomorrow for another, roughly another 8 hours, eight and a half, 9 hours tomorrow. So yeah, that was my day today. For those of you who are interested, today is Saturday, January 4th. And I'll just share this with you. Again, those of you who've been watching my videos, thank you so much. I know you're all looking at me saying, is this guy really going to do an episode every day from now till June 30th? Well, I don't know if I am, but I'm doing another episode. I think this is going to be episode number 23 since I started, and technically number 4 for the new year. And the goal is to do from January 1st all the way till June 30th. But I started days about a week, maybe 2 weeks before January 1st. So that's why that's why this episode is episode 23. So I want to thank all of you who've been watching. The few, but it's clear there's some consistency there. There's someone who's watching every episode, at least 2 or 3 people. And I appreciate you, and I thank you because you are encouraging me to keep going. I'm hoping that the things that I'm saying are sparking something in you, either to be creative, either to take steps to improve your day-to-day existence, or just in general, just enjoyment. Hopefully I'm being entertaining. I don't know how, but I hope I'm being entertaining. I definitely want to share something with you in this episode. I was watching a video on, I want to say it was Instagram.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's Instagram. And this video is interesting because in this video, it was a story, I believe. There's somebody embedded into their story, and there's a man sitting outside. I'm not sure where if he's sitting on his porch or he's sitting by the pool, but he's clearly sitting outside of his home. It's a very tight shot. And you hear a woman with her camera recording him. And she's asking him, what are you doing out here? And I would like to think this is staged. There's something about it that doesn't feel staged. And again, Hollywood, actors, social media, we've gotten really good at creating false narratives. But in this scene, it feels a little real. And this man is sitting outside, and he has something in his hand. It's either metal or some kind of material that's sturdy. And there is wire wrapped around this thing. It's like cylindrical. It is a cylinder. Again, I apologize. My African brain trying to pronounce Western words. But it's a cylinder with a wire. And it might be copper wire or some kind of metallic wire around this thing. And she's asking him, what are you doing? Like, you're out here. I think she's trying to get him to come in. And he looks at her. And he says, about the thing in his hand, that this thing used to be, bigger. Like there's so much more wire on it, apparently. And apparently he bought it 40 years ago. So whatever he uses it for, it's taking 40 years for this spool of wire to be down to like the last threads on this cylinder. And he says about it being 40 years, and then I don't have the right words of how he words it. Maybe I can play it. Hopefully the social media gods don't punish me for sharing this.
When I came out to check on you. What are you doing? Thought you were working.
I'm looking at this.
What is it?
It's wire. It's a spool of wire. And I'm almost out of it. Can you see the spool of wire?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost out of it.
Okay.
And I've had this spool of wire for like 40 years. I bought it like this it's on a piece of a long time ago, but it's like.
So I hope that this doesn't get blocked as far as my being able to, me getting copyright strike for this. Well, but it is what it is. So in the video, you get the sense that he's reminiscing, contemplating, assessing his life. But he says this thing was this huge spool of wire 40 years ago. And 40 years later, it's down to just one, literally, it's like the last strand. And it's almost like he's saying, like, I'm running out of time. Like, I spent the core of my life just not knowing where the wire is going. Like, all the imaginings and all the dreams that was encompassed by this wire and its potential has dwindled down to just this last strand. And you can see in his face and his voice and what he's saying, like, he feels defeated. He looks defeated. He feels defeated. And eventually he kind of gets up and not even frustration, but it doesn't look like frustration. It just seems like he's just like, you know what? Never mind. Because she doesn't get it. She's on some stuff like, it's just wire. Like, what are you talking about? And the funny thing about it is, as men, we don't really talk about, we don't truly speak freely about our struggles with time. Because we're so focused on accomplishing, we're so purpose-driven, our job as men to take care of, to protect, to create, to produce. And what happens is when that thing doesn't yield the fruit that we were told that hard work would yield, we sit back and we think back on our lives and we feel like utter failures. We feel like we could have done more. And the funny thing about this is something that's ingrained in us as men. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, if you're a pauper, you're homeless in the streets of San Francisco. There's a part of our genetic makeup that says that Success is fulfilling the roles and responsibilities of a man. The roles and responsibility that you were told by your mother, that you were told by people, by society, that you had to accomplish. And when you're in a space where you realize that more than half of your life is gone and you've done nothing, at least according to what you were told or led to believe you should be doing, then what it does, it creates this deep hole in your spirit, and you just don't know what to do with yourself. And I really believe that's the core of the midlife crisis. When a man pauses and says, and he assesses his life and says, what have I done? What have I done that is worthy of screaming to the world from the mountaintops? And what happens is when a man cannot identify that thing that he can be proud of in his life, and I'm going to say it's outside of his family, outside of his wife, his children, but that thing that he created, that thing that he did that was so unique to him, it creates a depression. It creates a sucking place that most men struggle to pull out of. So when you think that the man in your life, the brother, the husband, the son, is shutting down or shutting you out, it's because they are struggling to articulate that they don't feel like they've done enough or that they're accomplished enough, because in this society we live in, we're constantly being compared to others. Society has created a hierarchy of men by race, by accomplishment, by financial gains and responsibilities. And these things are only further exacerbated by those in our families who only in the best intentions possible in their encouragement saying, hey, you couldn't do this, look at what so-and-so did. Hey, it's okay that we're not here yet, but we have more enough time. Just keep working harder. Hey, we don't have enough of this. The kids need this, but it's okay because I believe that you'll be able to do it. The pressure of being a man is so tremendous that most men push through and fight through until they break down, and usually they're no more. And it's crazy because most people don't even try to understand the pressure that men are in on a consistent basis. Call to action. If there's a man in your life, don't ask him, how are you doing? Ask him this question. And this is not just your husband, your boyfriend. I'm talking your brothers, your uncles, your fathers, any man that means anything to you. Ask them to do this. Tell me what you're going through. Just tell me what you're going through. You probably get a, what? What are you talking about? You say this. I know you're holding us down. You're holding your family down. You're holding yourself down. And you're doing everything possible to keep us afloat. I just want to share in the burden of the things that you have to do to make sure that these things happen. Talk to me. And you'll be surprised what you hear. Often, men just function in the dark, in a vacuum, so that no one can hear us. And if only you can hear the screams of quiet desperation, that men carry with them. Most of you would probably be terrified. Men, let's stop holding things in. Let's be honest with our loved ones. Let's speak our truths. Because I believe once we start doing that, we'll live longer lives, we'll be more prosperous. And we'll be happy. I really believe that. All right, y'all. Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal. Till next time, be well.